Yo, everybody, welcome to the newest episode of the Some Ordinary podcast. With me today, I have my lovely mustached co-host, Caleb. I have Muta, as his wife asked me to call him, and I also have a man. He was a little late today. He was driving 70 kilometers on the highway in his truck, and he hit a car on the way here. We have the legendary DJ Killer Keemstar.
No, the dog. You hit a dog.
It was a dog. Hit the meme right.
That's the meme, man.
Close.
I get it. Forgot about that.
By the way, you know, I'm late every once in a while, and I hate being late, and I get nervous. But when I'm late to this show, I get real nervous because remember when I grilled that little fucker for being late?
Yeah,
on his own show.
The little fucker remembers.
How tall are you, Nux? How tall are you?
I'm 5'10".
Okay, average height, man. Cool.
Yeah, not that little. But today we have Lolcows, UFOs, and Twitch streamers to talk about. So the hype is incredibly real. Muta, would you like to kick us off?
Muta.
I want to start. Dude, I cannot believe I have to deal with that evil. I'm not even going to start with that. That is, I hate her. But anyways, Keem is obviously, as you all know, he's probably one of the OGs on the platform. How many shows have you made so far besides Lolcow? Just to give the audience a little idea.
So we got the Bad Kid cast, which was my first podcast, and we had Bait It. Then we had Mom's Basement, the Keemstar show, Lolcow. I'm working on another one right now. A lot.
So, the thing is, when people watch our show wouldn't really exist if it wasn't for the Bad Kid cast and stuff. Because I really feel like you're the one that started the whole YouTuber podcast trend, and Lolcow is like the finest luxury version of taking the most degenerate shits on the internet and making a show out of them. I guess the best way to put it.
I've always been really good at taking talent, anything that I found entertaining, and as a collaboration, making content with it, right? So the very first thing I did was Billionaires Challenge, right, where I took a bunch of Call of Duty's gamers and content creators to go fly to LA with a billionaire, Elkie David, and compete for $10,000, and it was the first Call of Duty event to have 100,000 concurrent viewers, right?
Damn.
That's crazy.
And so from that, I was like, man, I really like this. I like grabbing different talent and producing a piece of content. So yeah, I'm like an amateur TV producer, I guess, if you will.
Amateur. I think this space it's getting bigger than TV every year. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And the number one watched show in the world right now has been Hotel on Amazon Prime. It started off as a YouTube indie animation. This is where
That's the
future
number
is.
one most watched show in the world.
Right now.
That's amazing.
Yes.
How is
Wait,
that?
for real?
Yeah,
on Amazon Prime?
On Amazon Prime. And it all started by a pilot episode animation dropping 4 years ago on YouTube. And here's where it is now.
He would need some type of justification to justify his little fucking animation shit.
It's not easy. It's not easy. But I get away with it.
So here's the thing. Compared to the other projects you worked on, you worked with people that actually have a lot of relevancy in a positive way.
Right.
Okay. Now you're doing a show with people that have nothing but the most negative.
Yeah, I kind of looked at the internet and I saw so many people making exposed videos on Boogie and Wings for years and years and years, and I was like, it first came from a place of not entertainment and not a show. It came from a place of wanting to help them because I felt sorry for them. I was like, you guys are fucking famous. You're so famous. But when you stream, you're getting 200 viewers. It's people actually do want to watch him, but they want to watch montages of all the goofy shit that they do, right? They don't want to watch their actual content. I'm like, if I could take these guys and put them on a show together, they would be rich. It would be successful. So it came from that of just me knowing the space and being very confident that these guys on a show would take off. And it's been hell. It's been my own personal
Is it
nightmare.
already over?
Dude.
Is it over already?
No, it's still going.
Okay.
Almost.
Dude, it's like when Keemstar announced his retirement. He's still here. He's still around. All right, the clickbait was good. He's still here. We love him.
Well, dude, it's like, so this is the thing that I like. I'm so glad that you said it. Like, it's hell, because I knew from day one when you started doing this, I'm like, there's no way you're gonna get these guys that are already so hella inconsistent into one show a week and get it going on. It's almost impossible. And to be fair, the original version of Lolcow podcast isn't even still a thing, because we were supposed to have like DSP, but he wasn't a part of it. You got Wings and Boogie, and you know DSP's forever going to be. I almost thought that he was going to have like a victory like lap or something when like a week ago the show almost stopped.
When Wings was threatening to quit. Yeah, it's really tough, but it's like one of these things where like. Now I got people that are paying $10 a month on Lolcow as members, right? Mm-hmm. That are depending on me, right? So I can't just give up, right? Like you know, all the conflict and all the bullshit that's happening behind the scenes, and people quitting and people crying and complaining, and you know the cows wanting censorship and all that, you know. That itself is part of the content.
You don't even refer to them by name. You're just like
they're no longer humans. They are our cattle, okay? Dude, Keem, I'm telling you, you started talking about caring about Wings. I was like, bro, this man has actual empathy. But then you just call them the cows every time.
I love that.
It's just easier to call them the cows than you know, Wings, Boogie, you know, Tommy C. Like I don't know. It is really challenging, right? But you know, when you do have a fan base like that instantly starts supporting your project, that, you know, you got all these members and whatnot, you can't give up. Like, you know, I go through hell and back dealing with Wings and Boogie. Like, you see it. You're in the chat, Muta. Like, these people are, for the lack of a better term, they're retarded. All right? Like, what am I... You know,
not in the slur way. Like, this is a clinical definition here.
Yeah. What do you think... What do you think's wrong with them?
They don't get it. They really don't get it. You know, what is the term that I want to use? They don't understand the internet, right? If someone's bullying you and picking on you, go along with it. You know what I mean? Like, don't get offended. Don't sit there and fucking cry and da-da-da-da. And don't make that a moment where you stop making content. Make it a moment where you amplify it and use this hate and use this bullying to get more content, right? Like, never let you know, entertainment go to waste. And they don't get that. They don't understand that. But with Lolcow, there's no chance to escape it, right? You know, some guys on a Reddit post claiming that he is in a relationship with Boogie's new girlfriend, all right? Boogie can't escape it because I'm bringing the guy on Lolcow and we're going to talk to him. We're going to interview him. We're going to find out what happens, you know? And so...
You know what it just sounded like? You guys ever watch that episode of Maury Povich where, like, that the phobia episode where, like, people be like, I'm scared of cotton balls and shit, and then, like, Keem would be the guy that's like, all right, let me bring a whole pyramid of that shit into the room and see. I love it.
But the audience is so used of Wings and Boogie ignoring, like, all this toxic stuff around them. And now that I'm, like, showcasing it on Lolcow and, like, making them confront their demons, people are like, staged and fake. Like, it's like, you can't win. So even the audience is being an issue right now because they think everything's like set up, and it's not. Like, yes, I'm being the puppet master and I'm saying, hey, we need to get this guy on the show to confront Boogie. Yes, I'm doing that part, but it's not fake. And by the way, Boogie's girlfriend really was sitting there having like a secret tax relationship with this dude.
What?
Like, Boogie actually got cheated on. Yeah,
bro,
dude, what?
Oh my god!
I honestly, like, so part of the weird thing that everyone talks about is like the manufacturing of the show almost, because they almost like compare it to like wrestling in a way, and I'll say this in like every time I look at the chats, I'm always like, this isn't really fake. Like this is like actually like a real situation that's going on in front of me.
But again, that's why it's so appealing. It's like it's the reality TV, except it's actually reality, right? I think that it's just the new frenemies kind of thing, right? Where that was not manufactured drama. These people were actually like they actually hated each other half the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, there's this moment where I'm so pissed at Boogie, and I'm like losing my mind in a private DM, and I'm like, I hate you. Get on all fours and apologize. And I'm just like,
dude,
you know,
that was insane. Oh my god!
I am not thinking about what I'm saying. I'm just seeing red and going off, right? So then Boogie reacts with him crawling on all fours, and it's so ridiculous that I don't blame anyone from saying fake staged. Like I don't blame the audience, but it is real.
Yeah, I will say like that night that you got him on the knees and everything, like, and he had to apologize. It was like actual anger because what happened was like me and him started arguing on another stream about it too, and basically took the content away from the main show. Like at the end of the day with Lolcow live and everything too, it's like I want to see it survive. I'm just honestly like every single week that you guys record that show, there's always one problem that like comes, and it's the stupidest problems too, right? Like sometimes people will forget to record their actual side of the show and send it in, and I'm like, dude, how can you guys that have been longer YouTubers and streamers than I even are this up on a weekly basis, you know? Like,
dude,
I don't know. It's such a weird thing.
The show's been running for 2 months, all right? In the 2 months, at least 85% of the files that Wings has sent over to the editor has been over 20 gigs.
How did he do that?
Do you guys understand this? Wings is recording for an hour, and he's sending a file that's like half the size of GTA 5. Like, make it make sense.
And the best part is sometimes it's like it's not even like video in it. I'm pretty sure it's just like the audio. So somehow he like blows up the size of this for no real reason.
And by the way, so you're because there's like the file is so big, you're expecting like 4K Wings of Redemption. No, it is the shittiest camera. It is the shittiest lighting. It is the shittiest audio. Like it doesn't make sense. I think we've all been ratted, right? I think a hacker is attaching some Trojan horse to these files or something. Make it make sense. Why is it fucking 20 gigs? Like there's so many complications. Like I got to talk about this this recent thing that happened with Wings of Redemption, right? So there are people that are truly harassing Wings. This isn't like Wings is being a baby and this is just criticism that he's trying to shut down. No, there's actual bad people out there harassing him. And I tell Wings, ignore it. Who cares? Let him say whatever the they want in the chat. Let him say whatever the fuck.
Basic internet mentality. Just ignore that shit.
Like, who cares? You've already been doxxed, swatted, and all these things have happened. Like, you're invincible now. Who cares? No. He starts crying about it, and he starts making a big deal. And he's like, I want this word banned, and I want this person banned, and I just ignore him, right? Because
well, what's the word he wants banned?
Pedo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because so many people are calling him a pedo.
Yeah. And I'm like,
there's no legitimacy behind this, right?
It's baseless, right?
Yeah.
He is not a pedophile, but way back in the day, he made some fucking stupid shock jock comment that the age of consent should be 12. Like,
wowzers.
It's pretty fucked up shit, and he should get criticized for it, sure,
So
right?
basically, he had like his Vosh arc back in the day, and everything changed.
But he doesn't believe that. Like, if he doesn't actually believe that. It was just he was being stupid. So anyhow, long story short, he starts getting fucking like, that's it. I quit the show. I'm fucking done. They owe me this amount of money, this and that. And so I talked to him, and I was like, look, let's talk this out and let's negotiate. And he just, we make this plan that he's going to show up Tuesday on the live stream and we're going to talk this out. And he just ghosts me. He just fucking ghosts me. Right? So I'm sitting there.
It's the least professional thing in the world.
I'm sitting there on a live stream and I'm like, yeah, we're going to talk to Wings. We're going to see if we can save him on the show. And I'm sitting there with dead air, like freaking out, panicking. He just doesn't fucking come. It gets to the point where there's 6 6,500 fucking concurrent live viewers waiting for Wings to call in, and he just never fucking does. And it gets to a point where he goes and has his wife Kelly call me, and he's talking in the background, and then she's talking directly. Like, what is this? Like, do you understand how retarded they are? Like, finally,
That's pretty funny.
To everyone watching this is the lengths that Keem goes just for pure and utter entertainment. That's literally it.
I like, and you're the only because here's the thing, when the Lolcow podcast was pitched, I'm like, there's just no way there's going to be somebody with the mental sanity enough to keep this thing going. So it really does, like, you really need somebody to keep it all together. Go ahead. Sorry.
Here's the best part. 6,500 concurrent viewers waiting for Wings to join. Eventually, Wings joins, like, after an hour in, and then the viewership started going down.
They just never watch the shit show. Honestly,
the weirdest thing about it too is, like, even like with the, like, we talk about like how these guys like fell off, right? Like how they don't get the same viewership they ever did, and I don't think their channels are ever going to be fixed. But it's so interesting how, like, even how long was the Mike Klum documentary? Like, how far back was it? Like a couple months at this point?
Yeah. It was in October.
Yeah, dude, October, Mike Klum made one of the most viral documentaries on somebody that
He's a
people
gangster.
don't watch.
Yeah.
And
He's awesome.
he still raked it. Like, that was his one video on the YouTube, and he killed the algorithm. Everyone watched it. Like, people have so much
ultimately
interest.
YouTube cares about content. Like the clickbait, whatever, clickbait's all good and all that's fun.
Yeah.
But ultimately, content is always just going to be the best king.
Yeah.
Content is always going to be king.
Sure. Mike Klum's a legend.
The last part of this is, after we do the show, everything's good. Wings is back on. Everything's healed, right? But Wings still wants our Reddit censored and certain people, like, removed and post removed and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, we can't do that. We need a longer conversation on that, da-da-da-da. And we all voted against that, and Wings is upset. I send him his first payment for Lolcow because we had some debt or whatever, right? So, like, there hasn't been payments yet. He gets his first payment. As soon as he got paid, he stopped caring about the censorship. He hasn't brought it up since. Not a single fucking thing. So this is, like, what I'm dealing with. Like, now I'm wondering if he actually cared about what people were saying in the chat, or if it was just like he's going to leverage this to try to get his paycheck, which you're not going to get your paycheck early. It comes on the first of the month. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so weird.
No,
Who's your least favorite of all the hosts?
Oh, that's a hard one. Maybe Boogie, because Boogie just does the sob story shit a lot of the time. But it's just like Boogie's there to play victim and everyone to tell him to go and end it all. Like, that's the point of Boogie being on there. I don't know.
End it all in Minecraft, of course.
Minecraft.
Who do you think has the highest potential? Do you think any of them have potential to kind of turn their shit around and really capitalize, like, effectively off all this? Or do you think they're all just...
I actually think they all do. And even though I did say talk some shit about Boogie, you know, Boogie plays a crucial role on the show. But I think Boogie could be wildly successful. I think Wings can be wildly successful. They just don't get it, right? They're, you know, it's not these detractors and haters that are canceling Wings of Redemption that are canceling Boogie. It's Boogie who's canceling Boogie. It's Wings that is canceling Wings. They're their own worst enemy. Yeah.
I think a lot of it has to do with, like, and I see this a lot too in the podcast. It's like the laziness that kicks in, because, you know, YouTube is not my full-time job, and it's also not I know it's also not Caleb's full-time job, because you're already covered with Sour Boys. I'm doing my own thing.
Yeah.
So we don't do this as like a 40-hour work week, right? I know Boogie doesn't have shit going on but the Lolcow podcast and his channel, and it's like, you got to be doing daily uploads. Like, Nux, you're doing like daily, more than daily even, right? And it's like, consistency is the most important thing. These people don't capitalize on it. They just kind of sit there and, like, there are spans where I don't see Boogie upload for like 3 to 4 days, sometimes a week even, right? And I'm like, dude, how do you expect your channel to come back and enter the algorithm and, like, you to be a full-time YouTuber if you're also not putting in the hours?
No,
like,
that's what I've always been saying. His work ethic is awful. Like, it's so bad. And he
Well,
could.
sorry. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, take it away.
No, I was just going to say, Boogie, the reason why he hasn't uploaded in the last week, he's been dealing with some shit. Listen to this.
Oh, no,
right?
no.
This
I mean over the last 5 years, his work
Yeah.
ethic's been terrible.
Yeah.
I got one hell of a story. This just happened on Lolcow, right? So Boogie decides that he's mentally retarded and that he needs to rewire his brain. So he needs shrooms, all right? Which actually...
Wait, you don't believe in Flaming Star?
Let me get to it. Well, I actually believe that shrooms could rewire your brain and can help with addiction and rethinking a different way. And I actually do believe in this, right? But instead of Boogie just getting some shrooms and doing it on his own, he needed a shaman. And by the way, he lives in Arkansas, so he got this redneck shaman called Flaming Star.
Flaming
That's genius,
Star's
dude.
the best. I would trust him with my life.
And by the way,
Dude, this is Flaming Star we're talking about. He's a PhD.
Flamin' Star looks like he lives in a trailer and he invaded
does.
the Capitol on Jan 6, and he's an oath taker, by the way. That's this guy, right?
That's pretty funny. Let me look him up. Hold on. Flaming Star?
Dude, Flaming Star's awesome. Y'all just hating on him.
Wix site, Caleb. You think he's got that going on? What the?
Oh, I got him, bro.
And
I found him.
You can see
ahead.
this guy in the Mike Kloom documentary. Like, he's out there with out of fire.
At the
and,
end, yeah.
You know, he's got
Oh, yeah.
Boogie on the fucking shrooms.
He doesn't look like someone who you'd think would be called Flaming Star. He does look like a gravy seal, you're right.
So
Boogie looks
anyhow,
like a gravy seal, though, too.
Right away, me and Wings are telling Boogie, like, this Flaming Star guy is scamming you. Like, this guy is a con. Like, but no, I trust him with my life, and da-da-da-da, and he's such a good person. Da-da. Well, Flaming Star gets Boogie in the most vulnerable place ever, right? I'm going to save you. I'm going to rewire your brain. Gets him on, psychedelic drugs, mushrooms, right?
Did you see Flaming Star massaging Boogie's thighs? Did you see that clip?
No.
Oh, that is
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah, I saw that
Let
one.
me see if I can find it.
So he has Boogie in this place where Boogie's going to get taken advantage of. And Flaming Star starts saying, hey, your magic cards? I could sell those for like 100,000. Like, let me just take them and let me, sell them for you. And I'll get a cut of it, right? And stupid Boogie's like, okay,
No.
redneck, fucking oath taker, January
Dude, this guy's
6th.
a shaman. What does he know about dealing magic cards?
Exactly.
Oh my god.
Exactly.
Dude.
So Boogie's stupid ass is like, okay, I'll do it. Signs a contract with him, all this other stuff, right? And then the shaman's over at his house, and the shaman takes Boogie's prized possession, the love of his life, not the schoolgirl. I'm talking about the dog, the dog with the sloppy eyes.
Sammy, yeah.
Takes the dog by the neck for barking and starts being mean to the dog. So Boogie's like, that's it, Flaming Star, you're out of my life. F you, we're done, right? And so Flaming Star
Until literally the next week.
Flaming Star then calls the police and files a false police report that Boogie stole his magic cards. And starts,
Dude, that is awesome.
Yo, what?
Yep. And then
This is like,
No.
oh my god.
And this is why, like, I get it, the staged, fake, forced drama. I get it, audience. I get it. But you don't understand. They're really
people are crazy.
This type of shit is really happening in their life every single day. It's real. Like, I get it.
I mean, this all explains why they're in the situation that they are. It's like Nux, your outburst was perfect. It's like, what the would a goddamn shaman know about goddamn, like, Magic the
No,
Gathering?
but dude, you don't understand. This is the same thing as Logan Paul selling you cryptocurrency. Okay? You're talking to literally someone who knows absolutely nothing about this space.
It's wild. It's absolutely wild. And then there's parts of Wings that people don't even know. Like, this is going to blow your mind. Wings is seen as like a greedy guy that will ban you for like not donating to his stream, right?
Yeah.
But the guy behind the cameras actually does charity work. This like blew my mind. But he does like charity work. He like raises money for kids. He like goes and buys book bags every year for school kids. It's like there's so much stuff here. And these guys have a depth about them that is just, it's amazing. Like, to find characters
people
like
forget
this,
they're real people.
they're not only real people, but they're really fucking entertaining in every aspect. you know?
But that's the thing that like the internet doesn't like capitalize on, or like a lot of the montage channels don't take a grip on, is like the good stuff that, you know, some of these guys do. I think one of the cool things about like ever since I was watching the Lolcow podcast stuff is a lot of the Wings detractors turn out to be complete degenerates themselves, like Wings 007.
Yeah.
Apparently like the street racing incident or whatever. I gotta fully acclimate myself to that, but these people, like, who cover them extensively also turn out to be really, really degenerate losers. And when they confront each other, it always, like, at least, you know, it's like, at least in Wings' case, he always comes out as a winner on top of it. Like, he can at least hold his own. So I think it, like, when I first, like, saw this, I'm like, maybe it is something where you're taking advantage of these guys, but also it's like, it's one of the only ways where they can kind of fight back against some of the shit that's tossed their way. I really feel like it's the best way for them to flip it onto the people that are constantly dogpiling them for content.
Yeah.
Well,
you really deserve
in
a lot
a way
of credit
you can,
here.
In a way, you can look at it like, you know, I'm taking advantage of them and I'm milking the cows for content. But it's like,
And you are.
but
like, it's also awesome.
Their content. It's also like they're a part of Lolcow, you know? They're benefiting. They're getting a paycheck, you know? They were out on their individual streams and their individual Twitters, and they were being tards over there, and they weren't making any money for it, right? Everyone else was making money talking about them, all right? I put them on a show where they can actually monetize their retardation, you know? So it's like, come on.
Yes.
We are so cut. Fucking getting destroyed by the algorithm on this one.
Sorry,
Jesus
guys.
Christ.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's worth it, honestly.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's like we understand. Like this is just one of those situations with like these guys where I look. At the end of the day, I always want, like, no matter what I have an issue with Boogie about, I always want him to get better. And like same with Wings, same with like anybody on the show. And at least for Wings, I'm starting to see him like kind of make a bit of a comeback, kind of use this. Like I actually even saw him make content, like actual content that wasn't anything to do with, you know, streaming, even like actually prepared like YouTube content. So it really feels like in some capacity, the people that are taking it seriously, I think they can turn it around 100% for them. You know, maybe not like, you know, you like nobody. I never can see Wings or Boogie be like, you know, multi-million sub YouTubers ever again. But at least they can have this as like a full-time, a positive community once again, versus like just constantly being shit on like every single upload that they make or every single stream is scrutinized. Like people forget about how f***ed up it is to be them versus like even a standard content creator. Like if I say something raunchy, it's not going to get clipped, right? Like usually, and if it does, it's going to be uploaded on like a no like a bullshit channel. If Boogie says something wrong, that's going to be viral on like live stream fails. Like that's going to get more viewership than he can imagine. So it's like the level of scrutiny that he and the other like Wings and everyone else gets is so much higher. And it's really tough to deal with that shit too, right? Like
I think that's a really fair point that you're making. Yeah, these guys are not treated fairly by the internet, but it's because they're lolcows. It's because like that's the whole point. But I really do believe if I don't give up and I don't quit and I keep grinding and I keep putting time and effort into this, I don't know. I can't speak for their personal content, but I can speak for the show. I think the show will be wildly, wildly successful. And I think that they will be famous because of the show. And, you know, with that, it has to trickle down and benefit their own personal stuff.
I mean, also, if you embrace who you are on the internet, you can't really get canceled for being who you are, right? Like, Keem, you're an asshole, right? We love you for it, don't get me wrong. But you can't get canceled for being an asshole. Because everyone knows that already. That's old news.
Yeah.
So and these guys, if they like embrace their how you eloquently put it, their retardation, then you know they can't get canceled for it because they're embracing it.
Well, they
It's
can't.
like
They can't really get
really
canceled at all because they're so canceled. Like they've
True.
been canceled. You know what I mean?
They're
So
the
they're
bottom
coming from
of the barrel. They can only go up from here.
They can only go up, right?
It's like with Boogie. Like I don't like one of my only problems with him is like that fake nice guy persona. I absolutely can't stand it.
So annoying.
And if he, like, here's the thing, when he tries to be the Mr. Rogers of the internet, I'm like, I know you're not the Mr. Rogers of the internet. Don't pretend to be. Just be an asshole. Be who you actually are. Like, Boogie is like an old school 4chaner, you know, like an old school, like, piece of shit guy on the internet writing blogs. I'd rather you be that. I'd rather you be that than be like the Mr. Nice Guy. Like, nobody cares about the Mr. Nice Guy side. People on the internet, dude, they value more reality. Like, if you're real, people will watch you no matter what, as long as you have an ounce of reality. Like, Boogie should be talking about the porn blog. He should be, like, opening up, like, hey, you want to make a sleazy business? Here's A, B, C, D, how I did it. Like, I would watch that over any Francis or, like, you know, fake, nice, positive video. Like, instead of talking about the diet that he constantly fails at.
That he's lies about.
Exactly. He's been on how many diets? Like 20 times throughout the course of the year? None of them has worked. I'd rather you talk about I want the real degenerate internet.
Tell us what the
Boogie to
last
come out.
page
Yeah.
on Pornhub looks like. Please enlighten us.
Yeah, it's like,
The internet knows this guy from saying it's Boogie 2988 brought to you by the power of the internet, and I love you guys, and you know I try to think about people's feelings, and like you know it's just such nonsense that comes out of his mouth because it's like, and he built a whole brand on this nonsense, right? But like if you know Boogie in real life and you're talking to him in a private setting, he is gonna say some of the most off the wall fucking edgy, like holy shit, like you're getting canceled shit ever. The stuff the thing that he really is so up, and we've seen little glimpses of it on his live stream, right? These guys are worse than Hitler or whatever the he would say, right? He's actually evil,
dude. All I know about him, and like if he was just an evil monster on the internet, you know, like just a repulsive asshole, I would have way more respect. I think people would watch him just for that. He could be like the Filthy Frank again. He could be like a Filthy Frank type character on the internet, just a repulsive, social media gremlin. But like, it's this weird, like, I need to be, and then like the stupidest shit that I get about him is like all of my shock humor is like this Andy Kaufman bit. I'm like, hold on a minute. Stop pass it off as reality, because I know you're not trying to be a shocking individual, you know?
Dude, like, every time I see that clip from his the Mike Klum documentary where he's sitting in bed and he's like, the N-word is just a word. It has no power. I could say it right now and no one will know. And then Mike Klum is like, so say it. He just shuts up.
He should,
I love that clip.
He should be doing... I reviewed the worst hooker in my area and the 5-star hooker in my area. Like, you should be doing shit like that.
Like
that would
Nelk
be
Boys. Like on
100%.
Another level now.
Yeah, it's like I reviewed the best massage parlors in my area. You know how that Boogie video would be #1 trending if you did that.
Boogie reviews rubmaps.ch.
Dude, I would give Boogie I would pay for that production cost if Boogie went out and did rub maps in his area right now.
This is my overall point. They're not. This is my overall point. They're not self-aware, right? So you need a show like Lolcow to like actually capture the entertainment from these guys because they're not self-aware.
Yeah.
Yo, guys, welcome to the power of the internet. Today we're talking about Jasmine. She's my newest friend, and I would rate her a 6 out of 10. All in all, not so good. She has too many sexually transmitted diseases for me. One tit sags a little lower than the other. Like that would be the content.
Dude, if he did that, I think that he would attract the whole, like, because that's just real Boogie. Like, don't get me wrong, he would still be canceled. That part of the community, that part of the internet that thinks of him as like this repulsive, womanizing piece of shit will always call him that. But at least the real character will be out, and he can attract his audience and call it a day. But
it was it was a couple months ago. He made a video criticizing Pokimane, and he had a giant like bump to his channel. Now, Boogie, the Boogie that we knew that uploaded every day, that talked about internet drama and let's all hug and let's all have compassion for each other, dude, he would never, ever, ever criticize Pokimane. He did that, and he had a nice little bump because he was keeping it real. He's like, she's scamming people on cookies.
Well, like now we're looking into like Pokimane. Like, she just quit Twitch. Can we just say something for the record here? I think it's really shitty for her to fucking. Okay, so she's been at Twitch for how long? Damn near a decade
years?
at this point. Yeah. So now she's coming out with some expose story on somebody behind the scenes on Twitch.
Dude, that shit is so funny to me.
Wait, is she? I didn't hear
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah,
She's
coming
alluding
out
to
with
it.
Yeah, she's alluding to this big expose story about some really shady behavior behind the scenes. I'm like, hold on a minute. You were Twitch royalty, so now that you've left the platform, now you're going to come out with every expose imaginable? And, like, why didn't you do this when you were there? Like, the amount of fake streamer shit that I see on that platform is insane. Like, it's,
Dude, and it's
a lot of it is...
She definitely knew about this before she quit, right? Like,
Oh,
Well,
100%.
guys, I don't think she quit. I think her exclusive contract ran up and they didn't renew it. That's what I think happened. I don't have any evidence of that, but I know that she was under an exclusive contract, right? So, like, all we have to do is go back and look when she made the announcement that she signed another exclusive deal and is staying with Twitch and see if that lands in the same calendar month as the time she left. Because if it matches up and it's like exactly 2 years ago to the month, then yes, her contract ended. Her exclusive contract ended. She didn't quit, just they didn't renew her contract.
Which I think is absolutely the more likely scenario for her,
for
too.
sure.
Well, did you see her come on to, like, YouTube? Which is so insane. It's like a 6 million sub channel, and then, like, she was pulling, like, 2K viewers on, like, YouTube. And, like, I don't know how much she ever had on Twitch, but it's like, dude, even if you do, like if my worst streams on YouTube, and I'm way smaller than Pokimane, is still better than that. So I don't understand, like, I think a lot of the Twitch streamer side is so fake in terms of, like, the viewerships you're seeing. I
Like
think
bots?
most streaming
Yeah.
culture. Oh,
Yeah.
I think most streamers, like the largest streamers, have, like, the biggest Viewbot, like, problems that I've ever seen.
Well, also, sorry.
go
Also,
ahead.
another thing that there is a financial incentive for them to fake viewers, because real viewers cost a lot of money for live streams. And, like, I don't know if you've seen, there's like a calculator that's out there. It's like $4,000 for a 1080p stream over an hour,
Well, yeah,
or some
if you
crazy
take
shit like that.
Yeah, if you take the AWS, like the Amazon Web Services, who run Twitch's, like, backend, if you take, like, let's say that you have, like, 4,000 something live viewers and you've been streaming for, like, 8 hours and every single one of your viewers is watching at 1080p, then it costs, like, an absurd amount of cash for Twitch. Like, literally, they cannot make their money back even with ad sales. Like, barely break even, if that. And it's, I don't know what it's like for YouTube because they're not public with their back end, like, money, but Twitch or Amazon is. Yeah, so like Caleb, you said, it's like it's more incentive to lie about your viewer count than anything else, and you know.
Interesting. I didn't know the prices were that much. I know
but
Rumble.
also, don't forget advertisers, right? Like a streamer with 6,000 viewers is going to be able to get a much better sponsor deal than a streamer with 2,000 viewers. Like, which again will incentivize streamers to keep streaming there because they get bigger numbers on their ads.
I wonder what the actual cost is, though, because, like, I know Rumble has their own servers and does their own things, so they're completely independent, so they can't get shut down. And I wonder, like, take the middleman out. I wonder what the actual cost is to pull that off.
Well, that cost that we were listing was like the discounted version because Amazon is still owning Twitch. Without the Amazon ownership, that cost would be insane. It's like with YouTube, right? Like,
let's see. Let's do a 10-hour stream. How many viewers did Pokimane get on average, you think?
On YouTube?
On Twitch.
I don't know.
10K?
I think she got
yeah, sure.
on
10K.
Twitch, something like
Say
that.
15K. She streamed for 10 hours at 720p. That cost Twitch $4,840.
Bruh.
If she streamed at 1080, it's $10,000. That's why they limit everything, or they try to limit everything to 720p.
They're like auto default you.
Yeah, and if it's like standard definition, the lowest you could do with 480 is about $2,000 for a 10-hour stream with 15,000 viewers. So, I mean, that's crazy. And making $5,000 for a stream, that's a lot of money. Even with like 14,000 viewers, that'd be a solid amount of like donos and bits and stuff. That's crazy.
Shit. Yeah, with her like situation, I really and again, nobody has any proof of this, but I really don't think that I think that whatever contract she had probably got like pulled up, and now she's free to stream anywhere, whether it be YouTube, Twitch, or whatnot. Based on her YouTube numbers, I can't imagine that like she like because there's something about Pokimane, and again, like as disrespectful as it sounds, no real disrespect. I see like XQC clips. I see Aiden Ross clips. I see a bunch of clips like every week from streamers that I know are trending, right? Like, as much as I think Aiden Ross is a shithead, I think that he is one of the most popular streamers in the world, right? Like,
Yes.
right now. Because I see a clip
Listen,
every
I don't
time.
think any of us got scammed off $2 million on a single stream live. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
that doesn't happen to us.
Dude,
But, like,
this is...
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No, I'm dicking with this calculator. Like an XQC stream with 80,000 viewers, 10 hours on 720p. That's 25 grand. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts.
That's how much it costs for a 10-hour. And then if you have like 20 channels doing that shit, that's $400,000 for every 10-hour stream across 20 channels. That's insane.
But at least with XQC, you know that like he's popping because you see him everywhere. I've never seen like a Pokimane clip really float around unless
It's like calling you a broke boy or something. Like, unless
Yeah,
it's to
like-
shit on people.
You know, I could just say
Exactly.
behind the scenes because, you know, I deal with management and I, managing different content creators, popular streamers and whatnot. It's like a thing that everyone talks about, that every popular streamer is botting their audience to a certain degree, right? And it's beneficial for that creator to do that, right? You get bigger brand deals, you get exclusive deals with, platforms and whatnot. Neon right now over on Kick, he's labeled as like the #1 botter. Everyone calls him
Really?
out, including
Yeah.
Aiden Ross, who is like part co-owner of Kick. Aiden Ross recently came out on record and said, the reason why I can't get any of my friends a stream deal over at Kick is because I got Neon a stream deal and he bots his streams. Now Neon says no.
That's crazy.
Neon says he's not doing it, and Neon will do like, hey guys, everyone type in the chat 1, and they'll be spammed with ones, right? So there is thousands and thousands of people watching Neon, but the numbers don't make sense a lot of the times when you're looking at some of these streamers. And look, I've seen streamers, and we've talked about it over on Drama and Report It. There's some streamers over there that have like 500,000 people watching them live, and there's literally like 10 people in the chat. Like, you can see the chat not moving. So the botting thing isn't like a myth, right? It is real, and people are doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't shock me because, I mean, at the end of the day, it's always a race to the top of the chart, because the way that I understand how Twitch and like Kick and every platform works, it's like the recommendation, like they will literally just push the most viewed in that category all the time. So everyone literally just fights to bot the hardest, I would say.
Yeah.
But you know, it's a different world, man. Like, I mean, I know that like none of us do any botting and everything too. So when I see like our numbers, it's normal, and that's the only thing that I ever have to like sit there and just like, anytime I watch like some of these like big mega like multi-thousand viewed streams, I'm sitting there wondering like, dude, it's so obvious to the outside person watching that it's like you are being a degenerate botter. But I guess it's part of the culture. If everyone's doing it, why don't you do it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's definitely weird. Also, what I find strange is if Pokimane really had all these issues with Twitch behind the scenes and stuff, why was she so down everyone's throat that got Kick deals?
Honestly, with what she's I guess kind of alleging in a way, yeah. I think Kick would be a better platform in general. I've had more positivity.
I'm just saying, I'm biased. Okay, I have a Kick deal. I'm signed with Kick. Biased. However, just saying, it's weird to see people shitting on Kick when they're literally alleging that there's something even shadier going on at Twitch.
Do you think,
Yeah.
do you guys, to bring it back full circle, do you think Lolcow is at a spot where it could get a stream deal? If it streamed like maybe twice a week, 3 times a week, something like that?
If you're getting like
On
6,000
Kick,
viewers, or
probably.
something,
On Twitch, definitely not. On YouTube, definitely not.
Yeah. I would like to get Lolcow on a Rumble or a Kick, right, where the rules are relaxed and we can really let go. Because I'm telling you, these live shows, they're so goddamn entertaining. And once you know a little bit of the lore, you're hooked.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, listen, you make entertaining shit no matter what people want to say.
Let's
Just
talk about
entertaining.
aliens now.
We should
That's what I'm interested in.
Well, okay, so speaking of aliens, beyond Lolcow Live, you've been doing Skyfire News. So
Yes.
how's that been going?
So, I've talked about UFOs and aliens on this program, like, the 4 or 5 other times that we've been on.
Yeah. Every time. Yes.
I'm really, really into this stuff, and it's very, very interesting to me. What I recently discovered is that there is a UFO Twitter. Had no idea, but there's actually a community on Twitter or X that's all UFO related. And I just stumbled.
There's a map community on Twitter. They have a community for freaking everything.
They have every degenerate
I stumbled in one of these Twitter spaces, and like these people are talking and they're fighting and they're arguing, and I'm like, oh my God, I love this, right? I'm the drama guy. Like, I love this, right? And the issue that I have with the UFO topic is we don't have like a news outlet with breaking news, because as normies, like I would consider us on the UFO topic, we're all kind of normies, right? It only breaks into our news cycle when there's like a big event, 10-foot, 7-foot aliens down in a Miami mall, or the guys on jetpacks in Peru or Brazil, wherever that was. Every once in a while, a couple times a year, we get that news cycle. But I found out real quick that there is news happening literally every single day on this topic. And what I uncovered over here was absolutely insanity. There are disinformation groups. There are fanboy groups. There's people that are trying to push aliens as like angels. And like, this goes all the way up to Congress, like congressmen pushing this, right? There's another group that's looking at it scientifically. Then there's the debunkers, all right? There's a huge group of skeptics and debunkers, and there's a journalist from the New York Post that's trying to debunk everything and shut everything down. And then there's other journalists that are like trying to build everything up and make everything so believable. Dude, it is warfare every second. People are getting doxxed and swatted and harassed. Like, this is the most wild shit you'll ever see. They're like, an average person doing a 9 to 5 will come into this community and they'll be like, actually, I believe that person's testimony, and because that opinion goes against this group, they go dox and harass a 9 to 5 mom, right? And just because she has a different opinion. This is psycho shit. Then you have so many ex-government people that are now part of disclosure, that are trying to get the information out, but their roles previously were to spread disinformation. So how can they be trusted? Then you have like groups like Stephen Greer, who's calling out the ex-military people, saying like these guys are pushing disinformation. Then you got the ex-military people saying that guy is selling snake oil and he's scamming people. And it's like, there's so much to this. You have scientists. Who the
can you trust in this world?
And at the very top, Camden Gerard Davis.
Oh my God. That's pretty funny, dude.
Who can you trust? You can trust Skyfire News, right? Because
oh, good plug. Yes.
For real, you can trust the new news outlet that I've created, because we cover all of it. When these guys are fighting and these different groups are saying this and saying that, we're covering it. Skyfire News is like Drama Alert, but for this topic. Any new discoveries, anything that's going viral, any debate, any journalist coming out with a big claim, we're covering every aspect. And because of that, we got so many people, like high-level people in the government, trying to be our friends, but also trying to attack us, all right? It's like, this is like, man.
Dude, why are you not making this like a YouTube documentary, like an ongoing YouTube story?
We are, bro. I'm telling you, we've only been at it for 1 month. We have 4,500 viewers. Followers just on our Twitter alone, where we're the most active, right? So it's a smaller community, but it's growing. And we're way different than everyone else because we have no bias and we're not coming at this with an angle. We've done legendary spaces. We've had Eric Weinstein. You know who that is?
No.
Absolute genius. He's been on Joe Rogan a million times.
Yeah, I've seen him. Part of the intellectual dark web.
He's coming on Skyfire. He's been in our spaces. Jesse Michaels, very, very popular YouTuber. He's involved with us and came on our show just this Friday. And it's like, we're just starting to reach like the mainstream and the high level part of this community. and everybody wants to either attack us and destroy Skyfire, or they want to manipulate Skyfire to their the way they view the thing. Like it's like you see me like a kid at a candy store because it's so good.
Yeah, because I see, like, the last week I saw you guys getting into like beef with people. Like, there were like it really is. I don't want to say it's like the Genshin Impact like high school drama like community, but it is kind of like that.
Seeing that? Oh my god!
Oh my
dude,
that shit is so insane.
It's so toxic and it's so wild and like, bro. Like, so do you guys know who Lou Elizondo is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
For the audience, Lou Elizondo worked at ATIP, which was a program to investigate the UAPs or UFOs, right, in the government. Then he quit his job, according to him, in protest to make this information available to the public. Now, lots of promises coming from this guy, but he's yet to deliver on much. But this guy is an intel officer, right? This guy is brilliant when it comes to intel, like disinformation and all that. And he's got a fan club in this UFO community. Like, it doesn't make sense. These guys literally are posting pictures of this guy, Lou Elizondo, naked, that looks like it was painted from Michelangelo, and calling him daddy. Like, that's the fan group of Lou Elizondo,
That's
right?
Crazy.
What?
If I come out right now and I say I don't trust what Lou Elizondo is saying, they will fucking tweet at me pictures of my house and like threaten to kill me and stuff. Bro,
Oh my
that's
god!
what
They got
this is.
Sniper Wolf on the job and everything.
Dude, that's what we're dealing with now. All these people are scared because of all this toxic, crazy shit that's happening in this UFO community. But here comes Keemstar, who's dealt with this type of shit for years, and I'm invincible, and I just laugh at them and like call them out like, oh, you're gonna dox me? Oh, you're pulling up my information? Really? What, do you think I'm gonna leave and I'm not gonna fucking stay here? No. Next time you start a space, I'm gonna join your space and ask you about you calling Lou Elizondo fucking daddy. So they've never dealt with like a troll, like with a following like that. So I've been just beating up these guys left and right that have been doing all this toxic stuff. Follow Skyfire News. I'm telling you, you will love this shit.
It just sounds like you've like re-sparked your love for Drama Alert in like this one community that just cannot deal with Infiltrator, I guess. It's beautiful, Jesus Christ,
dude. It's a true passion of mine. Muta, you covered the jetpack guys in Peru, right? And you had like a 2-part series, right? We're talking to a guy that went and interviewed people in the village, right? And it's like, just to have like, this stuff is so fucking interesting, and it's so entertaining, and it's so crystal clear that the government has some insane technology. It's not clear, if the stuff that we're seeing is ETs, but it is clear that the government has insane technology, like that TikTok video or TikTok video.
I believe that I believe that when it comes to aliens, the government definitely has like a massive disinformation campaign against us. Like, I don't know if I know you saw it, but I'm making a video on it today did you guys see the Reddit alien they found in like somebody's garden?
Is this like
the little
news?
The little mycelium?
The mandrake root. So anyways, so on Reddit, like, this was the top post of Reddit for like 2 days for a while. Somebody from the European, somebody from like the UK or whatever, posted on the mushroom identification subreddit, and apparently it was like an 80-year-old woman who found this like alien body, and it was debated on for like days. And obviously, like, if you're in the community, you probably like. It was one of those things where I'm like, look, I believe in all the alien stuff, but like, this is the prime example of why people laugh at every single person in this community, because you all are sitting there actually thinking this is real. But there's a lot of stuff that I feel is unexplained, or like, we spend way too much time focusing on obvious hoaxes when we should really be thinking about like the technology aspect of it, right? Like, the government definitely has access to shit that we have never heard of.
I'm gonna explode. Okay, the reason why the stories like the alien root are the most popular, and it's the one that everyone is talking about, is because there is a campaign to make the hoaxes really, really, really popular, right? There's disinformation agents that will make the hoax shit the most popular stuff, so people don't even begin to like study this and be involved. Like, that is part of the strategy. And once you get into this, you start seeing like, oh my God, why is 7-foot, 10-foot aliens in Miami? Why is that way bigger than, somebody that's actually caught a craft on camera? Like, why is that? And then you go and look at some of the people that are building it up, and it's like, that's clearly like an organized attack to make that popular. That doesn't even make sense. You look at the accounts that are promoting that, and they're bot accounts. So somebody is running a bot farm, right? Probably the government, I don't know, to make the hoaxes way more popular than the actual like real stuff. And it's like, once you get into this world and follow Skyfire News and look at this stuff and start understanding it, it's wild. It's like the biggest mystery ever.
Give us something that you feel is suppressed. Like, what is the actual like news that is of recent that is suppressed? That you're because I believe that Skyfire, the way that you want to like run this, is to fight against the disinformation bots. What is an actual story that you feel is being suppressed, like right now?
Damn, the deep breath,
Davis.
bro. It's only funny one time, man.
Nah, bro.
Let me do this. There's an app on my phone, right? And I have no brand deal with this company at all, but it's called Enigma, and there's like billions of dollars invested into this. And what it is it's crowdsourcing different UFO content and their stories. There's a map, and there's videos that come out every single day on this app, like videos of like real unidentified flying objects in the sky. Some of them are clearly, military stuff. Some of them are balloons. Some of them can be discredited, but then some of them you're just sitting here and you're like, oh my God, like this is 4K iPhone footage of something that doesn't make sense. And I'm scrolling through it right now, and it's just video after video after video after video after video. Now, if this is happening every single day and people are recording UFOs in the sky and they're putting it on this app, how come none of these are in the mainstream? How come none of them are in the mainstream? How come
Suppression.
the guy that had the 10-foot alien hiding behind the backhoe or whatever in his backyard in Vegas, why did that get so fucking popular? Why was that huge, right? Because
What do you think?
there's no fucking evidence. There's no proof. It's not on video. But if he caught it on video and he actually captured the alien, it would not be in the mainstream news. It'd be suppressed. That is
What's the
difference.
most compelling evidence you've ever... Do you fully believe in this? Do you have access to something that could potentially change a skeptic's mind?
In the future, there's going to be some good documentaries on Skyfire News.
Okay.
In other words,
do you know what Logan Paul's UFO video is? Are you aware of that?
Yeah.
The one
Yeah.
Yeah.
Logan Paul's...
made a
I
UFO
haven't.
video?
I haven't seen it, but I've talked to insiders. So basically, a UFO flew over a guy's car, like only 50 feet above the car. The guy filmed the whole thing, right? And he hasn't showed the video to anyone. Logan Paul went there to potentially buy the footage, right? Because there's a lot of credibility behind this video. It's an actual real video. Nobody knows what the UFO is. So Logan Paul went there to potentially buy it, and Logan had a hidden camera with him. And so we went over there. He was recording the video that he's seen, and to this day he says, well, it's interesting, but it's not that compelling, so I'm not going to release it. And everyone's been putting a lot of pressure on him to release it. But the craft that is captured in the video is more mechanical. And so when you're seeing craft that like have nuts and bolts and rivets, probably man-made stuff that we're dealing with.
It's the sleek ones.
When you're seeing craft that are, how they're explained is they're like living, they have their own intelligence to themselves. And,
Sentient crafts, like they're fleshy or whatever.
Yeah, those are the
Organic.
those are the ones that are more like potentially ET.
Right.
There's a really good story right now. Are you guys familiar with Chris Bledsoe?
Nope.
No.
Chris Bledsoe is a very religious guy that lives in North Carolina, and he was dealing with Crohn's disease, and he was very, very sick, and he was praying to God, begging for help to cure him. He went out on a fishing trip with like 6 others and saw a craft in a distance or light, and he thought it was like, you know, the sun or something, but it was moving, and he was confused, so he went to go chase it. All of a sudden, he comes back, and they were like, where were you? Where'd you go? He was gone for like 4 hours, and he thought he was just gone for like 10 minutes. Then after that incident, he kept seeing UFOs at his house all the time. And so all the people in the town thought he was a nut, thought he was crazy. So he started recording it. And then like NASA personnel came to his house, government officials came to his house. They also documented that this guy is like literally seeing UFOs every night. He had one incident where he was outside and, you know, he was begging for the phenomenon to help him out because everyone thinks he's crazy, and he was begging for permission to like film it, right, and to share this experience. And a wind came, pushed him over. He saw, when he was laying on his back, he seen a bull run over him, and then the lady appeared, right? It was a lady figure that said, "This is your burden to deal with," and gave him permission to like basically record this stuff and share it with the world. And there's something with that lady that our government understands, and it has some sort of meaning, whether it's an ET, an angel, or whatever the lady is, because that's when all the government people started going and flying to Chris Bledsoe and started, you know, interacting with him and, you know, recording him. They got this guy on brain scanners and stuff, and they're recording his meditation state and his brain waves as the phenomenon's coming, because he's actually communicating with them, according to him. And just a couple days ago, we reported on Skyfire News, he's sitting there communicating with this UFO, and he asked it to show while he's filming, and sure enough, blue light in the sky, like it's the, you know. So do I think this is real? Yes, I think this is real. Do I know what it is? I don't know what it is. You know, there's a big portion of this community that thinks that, like, you know, angels and God are actually ET. And there's people in our government, there's congressmen that think this as well. And Chris
Tucker
Bledsoe,
Carlson.
Yeah, Chris Bledsoe is he's the figure. He's the main figure that's having this religious type experience with ETs. And then there's people that think, these ETs or whatever are gaining information and they're going to destroy us. I mean, people are coming at it from all different angles, and I don't know what the fucking truth is, but there is some phenomenon that's happening.
What do you believe? If you had to just concisely in like a short, brief description, what do you believe is happening?
Because I don't think it's like anything to do with religion or the supernatural. I think if we're dealing with something like this, it's probably unknown tech. But yeah, go ahead, Keem. Sorry.
I think 3 things are happening. I think that a lot of the stuff that we're seeing in the sky are man-made. I think not just our government, but the governments around the world in other countries have insane tech. And I think some of the stuff that we're seeing making all these crazy movements are man-made, but there's not a man inside. All right? So that's one thing. I also think that there are ETs, that there are people that are, beings from other planets that are in fact visiting the Earth for whatever purpose, right? And I also think that we're also seeing interdimensional things, like things from another dimension that are able to come into our dimension and then go back to theirs. I think it's all 3 of those things. And one story that I truly, truly liked that came out of Israel, the head of the space program, head of the defense space program guy, he came out. I believe it was 2020. Is this like the
thing that happened 2 years ago or 3 years ago?
Yeah. He came out and said that there's a galactic federation of alien beings, and the United States has a deal with these beings, and our government is well aware of it and stuff. And
Hell
so
yeah, we do.
I hear that, right? That there's a galactic federation and us and other alien beings are the good guys and there's bad aliens out there that are trying to do this and that. I hear that stuff and it sounds fucking crazy. And then I go search the CIA website and sure enough, in the 1980s, they were fucking remote viewing the headquarters of the Galactic Federation. Now, why would our government, right, have
Are you talking about the document where like they had the diagram and everything and they could like remote? Yeah.
Yeah, why? And that's in the 80s. Remember, we heard about the Galactic Federation from this guy in Israel in 2020. Why is it that I find a document from 1987 that are U.S. psychic spies are sitting there meditating, remote viewing the headquarters of something called the Galactic Federation?
Maybe they're LARPing Star Trek.
I'm just saying there's a Galactic Federation in Star Trek. There's a Galactic Federation in Isaac Asimov. Like, it's a very common sci-fi trope. Like, even if only subconsciously, that's the name people would give it.
And most of those shows had insiders. They had people on the inside to help them write their scripts, to help them get a better understanding, to make their content and their shows as believable as possible.
One thing that I find really compelling is the ancient, not the Ancient Aliens show, but the ancient sort of encounters that people have had, like in the BC, like the Roman Empire. There's quite a few different recountings of people seeing ships in the sky and shit, and they obviously were known to lie. But I think that's just really bizarre how many times that's happened. And then it like kind of ties in the Dark Ages. There was nothing. Because stuff wasn't really written down, obviously. And then right as the end of the Dark Ages and into the Renaissance, there's even more. And then you have like World War II. There's like the Foo Fighters of World War II. And it's just weird how consistently there's been stuff in the sky that people see and they cannot explain.
You're so right. You're nail on the head with that one. And here's why. We live in AI, video editing, deep fake world. We live in a time frame where hoaxes are so easy and there are clear disinformation campaigns, right? Do you forget about UFOs? Do you trust the media? Do you trust the mainstream media? Right?
No.
I don't think anyone does anymore.
It's all narrative driven. They're propaganda like all the time, 24/7, right? So we live in a very strange time, but where you can't trust anything you hear. But you can go back through history and see Christopher Columbus on his way to the New World, writing in his journal that he's seen firelights in the sky. Like, you can go back through history and see well-documented historical evidence of UFOs, unidentified flying objects in the sky.
It's bizarre too. It's also bizarre, like there's been like ghost sightings and legends and myths throughout all of time, and they've all been very well documented. But the UFO thing, just like there was a conflagration right at the turn of using nuclear bombs to destroy Japan. Like that is like the beginning of that. And then you had the Roswell thing in 1947, and then you have like all the Bourne Secret Atomic Energy Council. The CIA becomes incredibly powerful. Eisenhower warned us about the military-industrial complex and secret societies, and all this stuff. It's really weird that all of the sightings become very in line with that. It's interesting to me, and also just the Roswell incident alone is one of the most compelling of all, because like it was just an old dude found some metal shit on his ranch and then turned it into the government, and then that was that. It was a weather balloon in the local news. It was very small. Like pre-1980, it was not a big UFO story. And then you get this guy who actually goes down there and investigates and actually asks the people of Roswell, and he talks to the coroner, and he's like, yeah, there was 2 child-sized caskets that were to be hermetically sealed that was requested by the government. And like all this weird shit that you just didn't hear about at all, and like all these people that they said that they were threatened with incarceration for speaking about different stuff. But 40 years had gone by, so they don't give a shit anymore. And like how much the story changed by just one guy going there and interviewing all these oldsters in Roswell, and it's like a weather balloon. It's not a weather balloon. What's up with it? Why would someone make up the casket shit? Like, that doesn't make any sense. This is like before it became a huge meme, not in like a funny way, but like with Bob Lazar, Area 51, Roswell incident. That's when all that became synonymous. Before that, Roswell was irrelevant until the Roswell incident book, and then Bob Lazar, Area 51. Right. So it's like there's just a lot. I cannot imagine how many stories there are like that are just like kind of unknown, but you know, you go ask the people in the area, and it's just the stories are. It's not a weather balloon.
Yeah,
it's literally tiny aliens.
The Foo Fighters,
literally.
Right? That's not the Foo Fighters. Isn't just the name of a band, right?
Yeah.
That is the name for World War II pilots, right? Who are flying around during World War II, and they're seeing lights. They're seeing lights. Like, what is going on? Like, you know, and they called them the Foo Fighters. So what I think is, if you do have, you know, an alien race that is visiting Earth, it might be a time machine type thing where they're coming back through time with historical events to see it with their own eyes, right? Because
I just feel like the government, it would be really difficult for like any government agency to hide actual like alien entities to show up. I think with like aliens, it's like you have to be, if you're an alien that's visiting Earth, you have to be like magnitudes more technologically advanced than us, right? And I don't think there's anything possible like from a government agent. Like we cannot. I don't think we can conceal that for too long, right? Like,
yeah. Well, one argument to that is like the most concealed area in the whole world. Most people would say is Area 51, and that like a lot of that is just private. It's just the Atomic Energy Council turned into I don't remember what the name of it is called. I can't forget. Or I cannot remember. But like most of the secrets were held by private companies that were doing work contract. Like, it's so compartmentalized that it isn't even the government. The government doesn't even know. There isn't, like, they're so compartmentalized. There's such small little pieces, and that's all like actually proven. The way that they lay out data and then the way that they research stuff. It's possible for one guy, for example, the co-inventor of the nuclear bomb, to not understand different parts of the nuclear bomb that were actually used.
When it comes to science and stuff like that I guess you can compartmentalize in some degree, because ultimately its discovery is going to be in some lab somewhere, okay? Hiding UFOs or hiding like a flat Earth conspiracy, like these are the biggest reasons why there are issues with these conspiracies, are the fact that they would be just incredibly hard to hide.
Would UFOs be hard to hide?
I would think so. If they're showing up and random people on the street, your average redneck in Oompaville's backyard just sees them, like, I don't know, I feel like it would be more common knowledge. Like, it's so easy to post anything online now.
Here's the issue, right? Let's say an alien comes down and wants to be interviewed, right? And, you know...
Go to Skyfire News.
Think of something... Yeah, exactly. Well, we will interview an alien at some point. Give me 50 years. Give me 50 years. Go follow Skyfire News on Twitter and YouTube.
Listen, he's 50 years. He'll interview an alien, but it won't be on Twitch, because Twitch will be gone
that much
4
time.
years.
Give me that much time. Let's say who is a credible journalist? Unfortunately, it's probably Joe Rogan at this point. He probably has more credibility with the populace than anyone. So let's say Joe Rogan comes out and he's like sitting down with the ET and he's interviewing them, asking them a lot of questions. We will not believe it. We will not. If it's real, let's say it's real, we're all going to say it's fake. We're all going to say it's fake. We are wired in a way to not believe this, right? We're all skeptics. We're all going to shoot it down. We're all going to say, no way, that's not real. You know, there's no way. They wouldn't look that way. Like, I'm telling you, we're not going to believe it. And that's the number one issue with all this.
The really weird part, too, that is now that it's like admitted, like it's actually admitted by the government, and like there's a whole arm of the government for investigating these things. So it's like it is actually
because now we're looking into UAP stuff. Now we got like
it's
NASA,
canon now.
Yeah.
It isn't all. So it's like it's slowly coming out, and the way that the government is approaching it is very similar to the way that they've approached a lot of things that have come out that shouldn't have come out that it's just like it burgeons. Eventually, the truth will come out no matter what. And like either they're preparing us for it, or a lot of people think that now that the government says it's real, well, it's fake. Now it's fake that the government acknowledges its existence. It's like, what do you want, bro?
That is,
what do you want, you goobers?
That's the whole point of Skyfire, because that's exactly what's being said, right? Now, they want disclosure. They want the government to come out and tell us the truth. And when you have government people coming out and telling the truth, they're like, wait, that's a government person. I don't trust them. This is disinformation. They're trying to make me look this way. And that's, with this world being that complicated and so hard to understand, you need a news outlet to cover all the information so you can hear from everyone, every point of view, so you can like form your own opinion, because it's an absolute cesspool mess of information. Go ahead.
One of the things that I have to ask too is like, so when you're working on Skyfire News, I assume that you got to deal with like, when I think of misinformation in this space, I think of like AI, and I think of a lot of these like machine. Like now you can fake almost anything. We're at a point where like you can't believe an interview, you can't believe a video, you can't unless you see it with your own eyes. So how do you counter that even?
So we focus our reporting on the people, right? So Jeremy Corbell just released the UFO jellyfish. Are you familiar with that?
No.
Okay,
UFO
so
jellyfish.
I believe it was, I might get the date wrong, but I think it was like 2008 over in the Middle East. A jellyfish type creature was caught on an infrared military camera.
I've seen that, yeah.
And it's going over the base, right? So
going right to
because it came from Jeremy Corbell, who has credibility in the UFO space, we're going to cover that story, and we're going to cover what Jeremy's saying. Now, there's huge, people that are trying to debunk this right out the gate, like Green Street from the New York Post. He starts off by saying, well, it's bird shit on the camera. It wasn't bird shit because you can clearly see that the thing is like moving a little bit.
Moving.
So then he moves on to balloons, right? So every aspect of this story that I'm telling you, we're covering on Skyfire. But if there was just this random video that popped up on the internet, we probably wouldn't cover it unless we could attach a person to it. The anonymous video stuff, we can't cover. But if an anonymous video pops up on the internet and somebody that has pull in the community speaks on it, either debunks it or believes it, we'll cover what they're saying. You see how Skyfire can, cover the conversations around this stuff without getting into this weird, like, we have this exclusive video of a UFO. Like, we're never going to do that.
You're not trying to sensationalize this more than it already is the thing.
Right. We want to cover the people that are debunking it. We want to cover the people that believe it. We want to cover what the government's saying. We want to cover every aspect of the conversation about each individual incident.
I mean,
Look,
and
it's super interesting.
That's the right way to do it,
Whether
right?
you believe in UFOs or not, I guess I'm more on the skeptic side. Look, I'm not going to turn my nose against hard evidence, okay? Or against something that just doesn't make sense according to how we understand the way the world works. And I will be following Skyfire News. What can I say?
I mean, look. At the end of the day, I love alien shit. I love anything to do with this. I feel like no matter what, I've always dealt with two types of people on the platform, right? The ones that are like super skeptical, where it's like they turn their nose up to any possible thing imaginable, right? And their whole gimmick is about debunking stuff. And I really feel like with something like this, you have to have an open mind. I always try to keep an open mind, but I'm not going to try to lie to myself if something seems a little bit shady or fishy. So it is good what you're doing, trying to like create a platform where like you can cover such a topic that it is, like Caleb, you said like 10 minutes ago, the barrier to bring this information forward without being made fun of, without like being immediately discounted, is so difficult. So, it's an uphill battle, and I'm going to keep it like, it's an uphill battle to even discuss this topic. So having something like this is.
And there's a lot of content creators that have their own experience, right? So like Roman Atwood, we're going to sit down with him. We're going to document his story, and that'll be available on Skyfire probably by this summer. I just want to let the platform grow a little bit before we do something like that. But there's a lot of people with individual stories that are either celebrities or they're credible because of their background. Scientists, police officers, doctors. There's a lot of people that because of their position and because of their role in society, they should be heard. They should be platformed and their story should be heard.
Mm-hmm. Also, the CIA has been sued for harboring bodies of aliens and stuff like that before. So
Wait, for real? What?
yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that.
Hold on. What the?
Let's see.
Dude, you can't drop a bombshell. Hold on. You gotta
Yeah, I
bring
don't
that
even-
in
Yeah,
here.
so for me,
I don't
the
even know about
historical
this. I'm
alien stuff
excited.
is always so much more interesting than the
You
current.
sure Reuters?
Yeah, I agree with you, Nux.
Can you? What did you just say? Can I hear that one more time, please? Oh my
Yeah.
God, deepfakes are real. I believe all the conspiracies now.
Oh, no, hold on.
I said
don't know.
I disagree
No,
with you, Nux.
Oh, okay, all right. I thought I had something in my ear. Okay, good.
Here you go. It is. Let me see. I think this is the link to it. Let's see if I can. It's great. Oh no, I can't find it anymore.
While
Wait.
you're looking for it, let me bring up this point, all right? Here's a prime example of what you're dealing with in the UFO community, all right? There's this guy, his name is John Greenwald, all right? He runs a thing called the Black Vault. He does FOIA requests with the government
Yeah,
to get
that's what I'm looking at right
documents released, and then he just reads them on his YouTube channel. There is a certain group in this UFO community that attacks this guy and tries to discredit him, and he doesn't even have opinions. He just gets FOIA requests and records it. So when you see this guy being attacked and being called a fraud and this and that, you're like, okay, there's clearly a disinformation campaign happening because this guy doesn't even
Yeah.
have an opinion.
So I'm insane, and I made that shit up. Let me look it up because I can't find it anymore in the FOIA. Let me see. Oh, here's an article from 2017 that refers to it and has a link to it, and it's gone now.
Dude, just now? What the?
Yeah. Look, it
And that's why you need to follow Skyfire. No,
goes to the
honestly,
FOIA requests.
we're going to
But it's
research
gone
that.
now.
We are going to research that then. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
great, we'll get on that.
Dude,
I'll get to the bottom of that.
this is a video that I want to make like this week. I'm like, did the government get sued for hiding UFO?
That's what I'm
bodies,
saying.
Bodies.
Well, I'll
crazy.
ask around. I will ask around,
Yeah.
and I will get the
There's-
information.
Yeah, it's a Reuters like little piece, and the CIA saved it in there, and it was released in all the FOIA stuff that came out a couple years ago, but it's gone now.
Can you put
So-
the link, the dead link, in the chat so I can share it with my team?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
Let me see.
But yeah, I mean, see, this is why you need a news outlet that can just cover just this type of stuff.
There's a rabbit hole that I can't wait to go down. I'm looking at like
Yeah, dude.
Reddit alien bodies, and I gotta be looking at lawsuits. That's the kind of case I want to cover.
The alien scam.
Yeah, exactly.
The CIA scam.
To be,
All right,
to be fair, though,
Motherfuckers.
I put it in my group chat. My team is working on it.
the CIA is such a like cryptic evil organization that like what Caleb said like would normally shock somebody that doesn't have any idea, but if you took 5 minutes to study what the CIA has ever done in their history, none of this should shock you. If
Let me-
anything, this is all the organization is built for, the company rather is made for.
Can I pitch you? A future content of ours? There's this guy. His name is Rick Doty. All right. Now Rick Doty worked for the government, and he went out of his way to spread disinformation. So this was his role. He leaves government, and there's like a 20-year, you can't talk about shit NDA, I guess, with the government. That expires, and then he just starts spilling everything because he can't be held responsible anymore, and he can just out anything. Now the issue is this guy's talking about alien races. This guy has all the tea, all the information. It's so interesting to hear him talk. But this was a disinformation agent, right? With the government. So it's like, yes, this stuff is so interesting, but can we trust him now? He professionally lied for the government to spread misinformation. So it's like, imagine a documentary sitting down with this guy, going through his stuff, and then trying to fact check everything he's saying. But at the same time, it's like you're on this crazy roller coaster ride of, do I believe this? Is this guy lying? Is he telling the truth now? Is he spreading disinformation now? It's so compelling. This is the best subject on the planet.
I agree. I love it.
Look, it's great content. One thing I think that everything you touch kind of becomes gold, and just content-wise. Even though you might have run over a dog on Christmas, however many years ago.
That went viral. What are you talking about? That was gold too.
No, you don't. That's exactly what I'm saying. You murdering dogs was great content.
Listen, Nux. Every musician that has some, credibility will come out with a Christmas song or a song about a certain holiday, so they can get those royalties every time that holiday comes up, even when their career is done and over with. Every single Christmas Eve, I can guarantee you, till the end of time, people will be talking about Keemstar in a truck.
Honestly, Keem, it was worth killing that dog. You are so right, King. Preach, brother.
Jesus Christ. Well, to be completely here, I'm glad that, look, as somebody that loves the alien research community and everything, what you just said 5 minutes ago resonates so hard. It's like, listen, this is a tough topic to treat and explain to somebody without them immediately laughing at you, okay? And I really do believe in the next year, 2, 3 years, we're going to reach a point where the stigma of being a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist idiot is going to go away. Because, like Caleb, you said, it's the government already admitted to it. They've already said it. It's a thing.
This is the beginning and the end. Do you think that JFK was murdered by the government?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, well then there you go. Aliens are real. The end.
Is that really an outlandish conspiracy theory?
That is the conspiracy theory. That is the original conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
The official story the government tells is that he was killed by Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah, because you're going to tell me they put the president in a convertible in Dallas,
and he leaned out the window 3.5 feet and shot with a fucking Carcano.
Exactly.
A man moving in a vehicle? No way. 0% chance. They're liars.
No, 100%. 100%. I actually believe that. I don't even think that's a conspiracy. I think that's just objective.
Okay.
That's just what you should think of. But hey, before
that's just a theory. A conspiracy theory.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly.
Conspiracy theory would be a really funny channel.
But see, before we get shut down by whatever outside forces exist, because we're getting into conspiracy hour, and I know the internet doesn't like conspiracy hour. I just want to thank Keem for taking the time to come on, man. It's great to have you every single episode.
Thanks for having me. I always have a great time when I'm here, but this time, I requested to be here. I was like, bro, I want to plug Skyfire, because we talked about UFOs so much on the show. So thanks for having me. And I just really appreciate it. We are going to do a Drama Alert type show on the YouTube channel for Skyfire. And that's starting roughly in about a month. But we do have pieces of content over there now if you want to check it out. But yeah, believe it or not, there is news happening every single day. And it's just not hitting the mainstream. So I'm going to bring it to the mainstream.
Well, shit.
Hell yeah.
Well, check out Skyfire News on Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter, and YouTube, and any other platform you got on there. Rumble, right?
Yeah.
Rumble. Exactly.
We're going to create that soon, yeah.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, check out Skyfire News. And, of course, always check out Drama Alert and Keem for as being one of the OGs on the internet. And also Lolcow Live, okay, as one of the premier podcasts.
And don't forget... Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just going to say the new age Maury Povich almost.
And don't forget about Happy Punch, because, we're still doing influencer boxing. Actually, I just got brought up as one of the members of the small council. So it's one of the most prestigious roles you can play in influencer boxing. It's I'm on a judge panel of setting up matches and all that, which is so it was a big moment when I got on the small council for Misfit Boxing. So yeah, I got a lot going on, but they all tie together.
Do you do cocaine or something? Because I feel like how do you optimize your time? What the?
From the time I wake up, from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed, I really am working, and I try to get a couple hours a day to me and my girlfriend to go on a date or do something, but you're not working if you love what you do. And I love influencer boxing. I love Drama Alert. I love Lolcow Live. I love, this Skyfire News stuff. And I like coming on here and spending time with y'all, except for the cartoon f***er.
You're welcome.
Well, let's let the cartoon walk us out because he's the one that brought us here.
Thank you all so much for joining us. Well, unlike Keem, who's unwilling to admit his love for me, I am freely willing to say that making fun of Keem is one of my favorite treats to be on this podcast. So, once again, check out the lovely man over at Some Ordinary Gamers, Oompaville, and every single thing that Keem has been plugging throughout the entirety of this show. It's been a pleasure. You got more projects than hairs on your head, my man, and it has been a pleasure to have you here.
That was a good one, actually.
Much.
That was a good one.
Well, we're gonna end it here. That was good. God, I always love this. I always love it when we have Q.